I heard a saying once, if you want to make God laugh, then tell him about your plans. Maybe things haven't gone exactly the way you wanted to in life, but that's okay. Remember that the Bible tells us in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have in mind for you, plans to give you a future of hope." My next guest is going to share with you about how she had her plans in life and in romance. Well, until God wrecked it. My name is Raymond Valiente, host of the Reignite Your Faith series. Amanda Vernon is a Catholic evangelist and accomplished independent recording artist who has shared her gift of music and her message of faith to the nation and to 6 foreign countries. She just recently co-authored a book called When God Wrecks Your Romance. She's been featured on ESPN's Monday Night Football at Lambeau Field for the Green Bay Packers singing the national anthem. And she's also been featured on EWTN. Amanda also had an opportunity to sing at one of the world's biggest Catholic stages, World Youth Day, in Sydney, Australia, and Madrid, Spain. Today, I'm excited to have Amanda share a little bit about her life, her music, and how God wrecked her romance. I hope you enjoy this interview with Amanda. How's everything going?
Awesome. It's going great. I'm happy to be able to talk with you today. I remember when you invited me to be part of this ministry endeavor, I'm like, where can I go that's quiet? So I am not at my house. There's so many little children there.
That's right.
I'm at a quiet place.
A quiet, sacred place.
Yeah.
You can have your self-time. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for taking time out of mommy time to be with us today in our audience.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, before we get into your story, you sang the national anthem at the Monday Night Football game at Lambeau Field, a historic Lambeau Field. How was that experience, having all eyes on you and you're being televised? Tell me what was going through your mind when you were singing the national anthem.
When I sang the national anthem for Monday Night Football, I felt so many prayers covering me, and it was a little bit of a tumultuous time leading up to that performance. I actually had a major vocal injury just a couple of weeks beforehand, so I was not even able to speak like a week and a half maybe before. Totally harmed my voice on a roller coaster. Yeah, I know you think like I'm a professional vocalist. It's probably because I was singing. No, I was screaming on a roller coaster. Anyway, I don't do that anymore. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to sing. And I talked to a couple of friends who just are like a source of encouragement in the Lord. And one of my friends, she's like, this is a spiritual attack and you are gonna be there singing and you're gonna shine your light. And she was just encouraging me. So I just stayed quiet. I mean, like no talking, no speaking, no rehearsing, right? For like the week beforehand. And I really hadn't even run the song like to stretch my vocal ability until that day. So when I was out in the middle of this field and like the pyrotechnicians are ready to like send up the fireworks and I'm singing, and as you said, like the cameras are on me, all the Aaron Rodgers is over there, right? Like ready for the anthem. And what I felt was like the prayers of the church. And I know how many people told me that they were praying for me and were like watching live to then like see and I just put it in the Lord's hands, and that was really so spiritual and so uplifting to be able to feel connected with the body of Christ in that way.
Beautiful, because you sang twice the national anthem,
right? I think the first time so I sang for the Packers in 2014, and that was a preseason game.
Okay.
And then they invited me back to be on the live broadcast when EWTN came for Monday Night Football. the following year.
Wow.
So maybe the first year was like an audition, I guess.
It was an audition. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think you were
Thanks.
pregnant with one of them, right?
I was pregnant in the first.
Wow.
Yeah, both of those instances were. No, I was not at my optimal vocal health, let's say.
Still sounded good though, in my
I
opinion.
hope so. Yeah, I did my best.
Yeah,
So that's all that's all I can do.
Growing up as a Vernon, there were two requirements that you had to have as a Vernon.
Yes.
First is Catholic, and then you had to be a Green Bay Packers fan.
Correct. Yeah, if you wanted to live in my parents' house. Yeah. Yeah.
How is it like growing up as a Vernon?
Oh man. So I'm the eldest of 7 kids in my family, and my parents are both really passionate. So they're just passionate people. I don't know if it's not just a cultural thing, but like my dad's Black, my mom's Italian. There's a lot of expression.
Yeah.
And both of my parents are just so invested in the Catholic faith and very vocally so. Like my dad's an ordained deacon, my mom works at a parish as a liturgist, and I remember when I was growing up, my dad would tell us, like when we were little kids, he would say, as I recall it, he would say, "The Lord is preparing our family for public ministry, so get ready." And that was before he was ordained. It was before I started the music ministry, and I think my dad had just had that like prophetic wisdom to know, to have this sense of what the Lord was calling us to. And so it's been really awesome to be part of a family that has like such visionary parents. And so I'm just honored to be following in their footsteps.
Yeah. So you have 6 other siblings,
correct?
Including yourself.
3 brothers and 3 sisters, so 7 of us all together. Yeah.
Being the eldest, wow. Okay, yeah, I'm an eldest too, but I only have 2 younger sisters.
Okay.
When were they musically inclined, or were you the only one that was?
Yeah, I would say all of us are musically inclined.
Okay.
So not everyone is a vocalist, but everybody plays an instrument, and most of us sing.
Have you guys in the past thought about, hey, maybe we should formulate a family band or something? Was that ever a thought?
We've talked about it. We collaborate in various ways. So my brother used to play drums for me when I started out. That was really reassuring to have him on stage with me when I was a teenager and I was just starting to give concerts and to start touring. And for years, it was the 2 of us up on stage. I miss that a lot. And then my sister Deanna and we actually released a single a few years ago. It's called Come Home, and that's on my YouTube channel. So that would be an awesome one to share with people, I think. Sure. And then, my brother Kenny, he's done some like rapping on my album before. My brother Simon helped me write it. So we do collaborate. But as far as an ongoing band, I think our childhood was a good time for us to all be together like that. But I think now we're like, let's all get a little space and do our own exploring for right now.
Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe one day in the future when that opportunity comes.
Right. We were homeschooled though, so we spent so much time together. And now we're like, okay, so who knows? Maybe 10 years or so. You never know.
You never know.
To revisit this conversation.
Yes, I'll be looking for that album if it ever comes out. I wanted to talk a little bit about your musical inspiration in regards to were there artists growing up that you looked up to? Was there anyone out there?
Absolutely. I mentioned my dad and his music, and I really feel like my influences are so homegrown, like following my dad around and singing the songs that he sang. He handed on to me this tradition of Black gospel spirituals, and those when I think of spirituals, I think of them being handed down like one generation to the next, just like singing and praying together. And so that's how I learned to sing. So there's so many songs that are unattributed to anyone, because somebody first sang it in slavery. That's the music that really formed me
Right.
the most. And I mean, I have some pop artists and jazz artists who I look up to
Yeah.
as well. I mean, iconically, Whitney Houston for
Whitney,
vocals,
okay.
and then for piano, like old school, like Stevie Wonder and Nat King Cole. But I would say the driving force behind the music that I write and that I want to share now are those gospel spirituals that I learned from my family.
Nice. And that's where we get the genre soulful pop with gospel and jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and that came from roots from generations before. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so gospel spirituals originated in slavery in the United States. And so African slaves who were, brought to this country in chains somehow were able to come close to Christ, even though they knew of him through their slave owners, through those who like took them from their freedom. It just like is mind-blowing to me to think that an entire people could come to faith from you know how that goes, right? Like from your oppressors.
Wow.
Like
yeah.
wouldn't you be like, no, you're oppressing me, I'm not going to listen to you? And I think that just speaks to the depth of beauty in Christianity, that somehow the Holy Spirit can speak to us even through someone who is sinning against us. Like that's mind-blowing. And so the songs that came out of that faith, it's like my ancestors like hung on to the good stuff, to the faith that they were handed, and then they looked back at those who like introduced them to that faith and said, you're not even living this. They'll sing songs like, everybody talking about heaven ain't going now, which is hilarious because you're singing about heaven, so it's like, what? But they're saying like I'm gonna be in heaven and I'm claiming this. How about those people who are preaching about Jesus? I don't know. So it's very thought-provoking to me to see that faith and through the music, and then to hear this like joyous, victorious, celebratory song coming out of slavery. Like that dynamic will never cease to inspire me.
Beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about the book that was written last year, When God Wrecks Your Romance.
Ah, there it is.
The book, and I be honest, I enjoyed the book. It was very
thank you.
Very intriguing. The story and the drama and just you being able to express, your heart. I can feel your heart in this book. That's for sure. First, what was the inspiration behind the book?
Yeah, the inspiration behind my book, When God Wrecks Your Romance, it grew out of my time as an artist in residence in the San Francisco Bay Area. Hey, look, you're repping the Bay Area right
That's
now.
Right.
Sure.
Hey.
Good segue. Yeah, so I met so many new friends who became like my family in a very short amount of time in the Bay Area. And a predominant theme of our conversations was like family dynamics and marriage. It just came up a lot, and a lot of my new friends grew up with parents who were divorced. And I was really sheltered from that growing up. Like my parents, my grandparents, and then my husband, his parents and his grandparents, like there's no history of divorce in our like near family. It just hasn't touched my life directly. Of course, I have friends whose parents have been divorced, but
Mm-hmm.
my experience of marriage has been so stable. And so to have these new friends who were such beautiful, wonderful people who could tell me like, yeah, there might be such a thing as a faithful marriage, but I've never seen it.
An
I've
experience. Mm-hmm.
never, yeah, I've never experienced it or seen it. Um, that was so, I could just feel like this deep, like wound um, that all of a sudden like was affecting me for the first
Mm-hmm.
time. And I wanted to say something about like the God's faithful love. But I knew that if I just talked about having an awesome marriage, that would just be like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to believe. It just sort of like, if somebody's hurting and then you're like, don't worry, I'm not, like, how consoling is that? Not very.
Not very.
So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to speak to God's faithful love through sharing about a relationship that really didn't work out at all from a worldly standpoint,
Standard.
and just
Mm-hmm.
show how God's faithfulness like supersedes our wildest dreams, and
Right.
to be able to sort of paint that picture, and to just celebrate that God's love is always there for us, no matter what pain we've experienced or gone through. That's what I wanted to share.
Right, right. And for our audience who may be interested in the book, just to give them an idea that it's not only you who's writing in the book, but there's
Yeah.
also another story. There's another side to the coin, which is
Camera
your,
one, camera two.
and that's
So
Father Matt. Yeah,
yeah,
unfortunately,
correct.
I wish we would have had him on. It would have been great to have both of you, but that's okay. Hi, Father Matt, by the way.
Yeah.
So you get his
Alright.
perspective and you get his. What was the overall theme also? What's the overall message that you wanted to get
Mhm.
through this book?
Yeah, the overall message of our book is trust in divine providence. So so Father Matt and I take turns telling our individual perspectives of our story. And I mean you could tell from the front cover, like, we don't end up together. Right? Not romantically. Um and and yet we're trying to show, like, even in this relationship that we had that, like, from all worldly respects did not work out,
Hmm.
like the Lord was in it at every step. And so hopefully by sharing how God like brought so much good, um, out of our own story, broken as it as it may be,
Hmm.
um, we hope that anyone who reads our book would also be encouraged to look into their own life, to say, like, where has God been when everything seemed confusing? Where is he now when I can't seem to find him? And just encouraging people to trust that God is providing, even when we can't see
See
him
it.
so
Hmm.
clearly.
God has a plan, like
Yeah.
Jeremiah 29:11 says. So now the plan has unfolded to now where you're a wife, a mother
Yes.
of four, where you needed to take a little
Mhm.
mommy time out.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
And you all of the above.
All of the above, yeah.
It's been full. It's been a full life, and like, who knows? I don't know how much time I have left, but I feel like I'm pretty young, and
You
I've
are
had a
young.
really full life.
Hmm.
So that's pretty amazing. Um, Even in my 10 years of marriage, like, David and I have gone through a lot together, sickness and health,
Hmm.
for richer, poorer, and um, to be able to have so many blessings, like, beyond what I dreamt for myself. Um, I my overwhelming feeling is gratitude.
Beautiful. Now, are you teaching your kids? I know that they're growing up a little bit. I mean, they're still young. Are you starting to introduce them to instruments and both? Are they becoming
Yes,
musically inclined
yeah,
like
you know,
mom?
they are, none of them are taking lessons formally, but
Okay,
we sing together. Like my daughters like to sing in harmony.
nice.
And my one, our recent practice in my house is when I'm getting our youngest ready for bed. She's 3. We'll like brush her teeth and get her pajamas on, and then she sits in her little chair with her blanket and her stuffed animal, and I rehearse music. And she says it's a concert, so she wants me to use the microphone. So I like turn the microphone on, and I have the keyboard going through the speakers, and she's just like, "Okay, it's my concert time, mom." And so then she listens, and she'll be like, 3 more songs, okay? And then I'll get down to the last one. She's like, "This is the last song," and then it's her turn to play. So then she gets up on the piano and plays
Nice.
around. So that's been so fun. That's been so fun lately, and I know that has a big impact on them. Just being part of, the music that I make. That it's not like this
Hmm.
separate thing that I do in my own time, but I'm sharing it with them.
Right, sharing your gifts with your kids. And who knows,
Yeah.
maybe if they grow up and feel inspired to maybe form a band together,
Yeah, maybe
may
that's where the family band will come in. My kids,
with
that would
your
be
kids.
awesome.
There you go. And you'll be the general manager running the
Yeah,
guiding line.
there
Oh,
you go.
that's funny. We are almost out of time. Gosh, there's so many more questions I'd love to ask. But if there was one piece of wisdom for a young adult that you can give based on your
Mhm.
experience, what would that be for them?
Just one piece of wisdom.
Or you can give two.
Um, you know, I, one of the questions that you and I talked about ahead of time
Hmm.
was for young adults who might be searching for the one
Hmm.
for them, right? And that's what's really coming to my heart now. I'm just so convicted that Jesus is the only one for us.
Amen. That is.
um, that he's the one. And anyone else who we're called to spend our lives with or just spend a season of life with, depending if it's, a friendship or, till death do us part in marriage,
Hmm.
that those relationships are meant to be a reflection of our love of God and an experience of God's love, but ultimately they're always gonna fall short. Like they're
Sure.
never
Never
gonna
going to be perfect.
satisfy us.
Hmm.
And praise God that they do, so that the best is yet to come. And so that we don't have to put each other on a pedestal, like I'm looking for somebody to make me happy. Nah, I'm looking for someone with whom I can share God's love. I'll share it imperfectly, but ultimately Jesus is the source of that love that we seek.
I love it. Yes. First seek God, and then, if it's met your vocation for someone else, then
Yes.
he'll provide that person for you. Just, trusting in God's plan. And if people want to
Thank
get
you.
get more information
Yeah.
about your music, your opportunities to have you speak at their events, how can they find you?
Sure. Yeah. People can learn more about my ministry at amandavernon.com, my website. And of
Okay.
course, if anybody would like to buy the book as well, we have it in a paperback and an audiobook. Yeah, there you go. So they can go to whengodwrecksyourromance.com.
Very nice. Thank you very much. And before I let you go, Amanda, what we do with all our guests is we ask them a flash 5 questions, just a
Okay.
quick response. These are fun questions to help get to know our guests. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. Your favorite food is?
Oh, chocolate. Does
Chocolate.
that count as a food?
Yeah, that's food.
Okay, chocolate and peanut butter
Chocolate and
together.
peanut. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Love, awesome combo. Your favorite hobby is, besides music?
Running.
Running. Excellent. Um, if you could have a cup of coffee with one saint, who would it be?
Oh, gotta be JP2.
JP2. Awesome. And if you had the gift of bilocation, where would you bilocate to?
Oh, I'd be in Michigan
You
with
get
my
Michigan, the
family where I
family.
grew up. Yeah.
Right. You said Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? Is that
Grand
where you're from?
Rapids.
All
Yeah.
right. And the last question, if there was a public figure, famous celebrity, or musician that you can share the gospel with and evangelize, who would it be?
Oh, that's such a great question. Oh, share the gospel with? I mean, I would like to share life at all with Alicia Keys.
Alicia
Because like
Keys.
she like really inspires me, and I've like follow her. And I feel like she knows the Lord, but I'd love to talk about specifically what that means. Yeah.
Who knows, by divine providence, one day you'll meet Alicia Keys, have that opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
Well, Amanda, thank you so much. It was an honor and such a joy to have you on with us and with our audience. And thanks again for watching. And we're going to leave you with one of Amanda's songs in her albums called Come Home with her sister, Deanna Ray. Hope you enjoy this one. God bless, and we'll see you on the next episode.
You're lacing up your boots, buttoning your coat. I'm clinging to my hoodie, watching you walk down that road. I hope you won't be long. I'll leave the porch light on. Come home when you fought your battles, and now I'll be right here. I'll be waiting. Come home when you fought your battles, and now I'll be right here. I'll be waiting for you. At the table there's a spot no one else could ever take. In my heart there's a space no one else could replace. I hope you come back soon. I'll leave the porch light on for you. Come home when you fought your battles, and I'll be right here. I'll be waiting. Come home when you fought your battles, and I'll be right here. I'll be waiting. I'll be watching the horizon to see you returning. I'll be watching the horizon to see you returning. I keep watching the horizon to see you returning. I'll be watching the horizon to see you returning. Come home when you fought your battles, and I'll be right here. I'll be waiting. Come home when you fought your battles.